Guys, welcome to another episode of The Pulse. We talk to interesting people with fun stories, doing cool things, and Paul Mecurio kind of has all of those things wrapped into one. So comedian, Emmys, Peabodys,
Boy Scout,
all that.
brown belt in karate.
Actor, like a whole bunch of things.
Hosting my podcast because it's the law. Everybody has to have one.
And your comedy routine, the permission to speak.
Right.
It's unique. Like it's like that. It's more conversation than stand-up.
It was born out of crowd work and talking to people, and then just this chit chat started to turn into these crazy stories, and people were like, some producers saw me doing it, and like, were those people planned? So I'm like, no, how did it all work out? I'm like, I don't know. I just talked to people. And so that's kind of how it was born, and we turned it into a show for Broadway and off-Broadway. Core of it, it's my jokes and stories and people's stories, because everybody out there's got a story. Everybody. And they never let me down. Like, we had this couple, they're in their 70s, sweet couple. And I said, how did you meet? The woman giggles, she gets red, and she goes, spankme.com. I'm like, what? She goes, spank. He goes, yeah. What? And then he goes, yeah. She goes, I'm a sub and he's a dom.
Just
like,
happened at the show.
I swear to God. And they look like your grandmother and grandfather. Or, you know, I had this guy, looked like he was in a bad mood. I said, what's going on? He goes, I just broke up with my girlfriend. What happened? He goes, well, she wouldn't listen to me. I go, what happened? I told her not to shoplift at CVS. And I'm like, wait, did you say at CVS? He goes, yeah. He goes, I taught her how to shoplift. Anyway, I go, no, wait, not anyway. Come back.
Keep moving that story.
He goes, yeah. He goes, that's how I make money. I've been stealing stuff since I was 12. Now the audience is like, what is going on here? And he thinks it's normal. So apparently his girlfriend just kept bugging him about
learning how to shoplift.
Yes, to the point, because she wanted nice stuff. Like, he would only shoplift at nice places like Saks and Neiman Marcus. So I go, what happened? He goes, well, she wore me down. I taught her how to shoplift. What does she do? First place she goes to, CVS. I get a phone call in the middle of the night. She's in the back of a squad car. She got arrested for lipstick and a hand mirror. And it's like, and he was so, I want you to understand, everybody watching, he was upset with her not because of a moral issue of shoplifting.
No,
where, if you're going to do it right.
Yeah, and make it worth it. Like, go steal real. Don't embarrass me with the skills I taught you by going out there and stealing crappy stuff.
You're not going out with that thing you stole from TJ Maxx, are you? So what's really been cool about this is almost this like cultural sort of analysis of the world. Like, look, we're all in our silos, right? We got our wives, we got our kids, we got a this, the that, and this job, and we're all like this. But if you look up every once in a while and go, oh, that's how other people live their lives. You don't have to judge it. You don't have to agree with it, because we don't judge anybody in my show. You just like put it out there. Yeah. Because the point of the show is we're nameless and faceless and disconnected and divisive. But if we get together and share stories, realize we're all kind of screwed up. We're trying to do the best we can. We have more in common than we think. The problem is politically, where we are now, nobody has a sense of humor about anything. So if you're far left and I'm far right, we're never going to be able to even debate.
Can't even have a conversation.
But if I, through my show, get you to see, wait, you're married, I'm married. You got a 2-year-old, I got a 2-year-old. Your dog poops everywhere, my dog poops. Oh, this guy's not the devil. He's like me. This is not a political show, and I don't tell people what to think.
Right.
It's just come inside. We're going to have some drinks. We're going to hang out in this giant basement called the theater and have some drinks and share some stories. And then I'm going to tell my crazy stories, because my life is all over the place.
And life is funny, even when you don't necessarily plan on it.
Yeah, and you got to laugh at yourself. Like, I'm a terrible father. I shouldn't be a father. I am. I'm terrible. I don't know. You don't know what you're doing, And then there are some days you wish your kid would walk into the woods and never come back. Like, my kid was 7. He had a baseball tournament. This 3-day father's weekend. My wife's like, you should go, like, a father-son bonding weekend. And I went. And at the end of the weekend, it hit me, I don't really care for the kid. Hear me out, because every minute of the day, it's there. No.
There's so many parents who are watching right now going, he speaks truth.
Thank you.
Like that guy.
Because you don't realize until you're in it that you had your life for like 22 years, it's gone. Like, it's all them all the time.
For a comedian and a talented comedian, it almost feels counterintuitive, because you have to be secure enough with what you're doing to let other people shine. in
Yeah,
some
that's a
of these
really good point.
circumstances.
So my director, Frank Oz, we talk about that a lot. And he has a rule for me, which is like 70-30. Like 70% story, 30% funny. Don't force the funny. He says, you know, you're naturally funny. It'll emerge from the story, like the shoplifter.
Yeah.
And then you'll riff on it. But he's absolutely right. So if you and I are talking in the show, and you're telling me, I don't know, this story about your car and how it got stolen or whatever, and then I got a joke about a car, and then I get in the way, and I do my joke about the car, and then you're like, whatever. Because I also have to remember, these people aren't performers.
Right.
But here's the amazing thing. Everybody, if they're comfortable, everybody's funny. Yeah. And once they get up there and they know this is in a crowd work show where I'm making fun of them. It's a crowd work show on steroids in terms of how deep we get, but I'm not making fun of you. I'm just truly curious about your life.
Was it the plan, or did you kind of start doing this and go, I'm on to something?
I worked on The Daily Show, The Late Show, and now in the Colbert Report. The best bits that we come up with like on The Daily Show is stuff where you were working on something else, and then an idea spilled out of that, and that became better than the thing you were working on. Like, I don't know, I felt like there was a rule. You got to go on stage and start doing jokes. And it just felt weird to me. Like, if you go into a dinner party, you don't just start, you're not on, you start talking. Right. Well, to me, a comedy club or a theater is like a giant dinner party. It's all these people. I'm not going to talk to them for a minute. So then I say something to somebody, and then they'd give me a great story, and I keep going, and so that's kind of how it happens.
It's such a good idea, you know, and to see it in action and see what happens. And you're right. People are up there and they don't even know that they're funny sometimes.
What ends up happening is like you get into it and then they forget that there's an audience there very quickly. I do a thing we call the flip, because my director said you've got to have something invested here. So I let somebody come up, I give them the microphone, and they can ask me any question they want. And then I get asked, you know, about like my background, like former lawyer turned comedian and how that happened. And
what's the craziest thing anybody asked you? Anything you didn't want to answer?
Yeah. What's your favorite sex position?
Okay.
So I showed them. And
coming up next, the daring career decision that changed his life.
I stood up, I put my overcoat on, and I'm standing over my keyboard, and I'm like, screw it. And I hit the print button. And I always think, like, if I didn't do that, would I be here, right? You know, I was a lawyer on Wall Street and was doing mergers and acquisitions. And
even that's kind of an odd story, though, because you were successful on Wall Street.
Okay, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to go to Georgetown Law School in D.C. Then I'm going to go to New York and do corporate M&A. Then I'm going to leave and go into comedy
right.
and live like a pauper. Like, that's not a plan. And if you make that plan, you should be in a rubber room somewhere. I just always loved comedy. And then I started writing jokes and short film ideas in law school. And then I bought a camera. I started making films when I was a lawyer. Then I started writing jokes. And I don't know why. But I only know that it was coming out of me and it was in there. And as people told me later, it was always there and it was going to come out one way or the other.
So is the Jay Leno story true?
Oh, absolutely. So what happened was I'm working like 100-hour weeks doing big merger and acquisition deals, like no spare time. But I'm writing jokes. And I would write them in a passworded file at work so nobody would know. So I'm working one night. I got all these jokes. I find out that there's this big fancy party that some client's doing down in the financial district of New York. Jay Leno's a private entertainment. And I remember to this day, I stood up, I put my overcoat on, and I'm standing over my keyboard, and I'm like, screw it. And I hit the print button. And I always think, like, if I didn't do that, would I be here, right? So I printed out these jokes like that thick, and I take them down with me in the thing, and I watch Jay, and then Jay comes off, and I go up to him, and I go, I don't know if you need jokes, but I have jokes, and I'm never going to use them.
You go up to Jay Leno and say, hey, man, you might need this.
That's exactly what I did. And he was like, okay. And I walk away, and he goes, wait, come back. I go, what? He goes, you might want to put your name and your phone number on here so I know how to reach you. Like, here I am, Mr. Lawyer, right? Forget about it. A few days later, phone rings. It's Jay Leno. Is Paul there? I'm like to myself, there's no way. Thank you, that face.
Like,
thank you. There's no way Jay Leno's calling me. So I think it's my friend David who likes to pull pranks. And he knew I met Jay Leno. And I'm like, really funny. He goes, no, really, it's Jay Leno. I go, yeah, right. He goes, David, I know it's you. He goes, no, it's Jay Leno. I go, David, I do not have time for this. It's Jay Leno. And I actually said to Jay Leno, you do a lousy Jay Leno. I swear to God. And he goes, I think I do a pretty good me. I'm like, oh, Jesus, it's Jay Leno. And he goes, look, I read your stuff, and I need stuff for the Tonight Show monologue in my act. I'll pay you $50 a joke, whatever I use.
What?
And then
that
and then
doesn't
he goes,
happen.
I know. And then he goes to me, what do you do for a living? I go, I'm a lawyer. He goes, I knew it. I go, why? He goes, you write like a lawyer. You're too wordy. He goes, you're writing a joke, not the Magna Carta. Get to the punchline already. And then like a week later, my phone rings again. It's Jay. It's Paul there. I'm like, Jay, what do you want? What? He goes, I'm going to do your joke on the Tonight Show tonight. So I start to live a secret double life where I'm an attorney and investment banker by day because I couldn't tell the firm. This is one of the biggest firms in the world. Right. They'd be like, that's not appropriate. Our attorneys don't do that. And I couldn't tell because I was working dive bar. So like I would have a car service. I would charge it to the client. I'd have him drive me down to a dive bar, park 2 blocks away. I'd take my suit and jacket off and stuff, and I'd walk into a bar and I'd wait. And one of the places I worked was called Downtown Beirut 2.
What?
Drug deals out of there, hookers, homeless people. It was like, and then comedians. It was like a Tuesday night open mic night, and I'm waiting to go on stage. And the guy on stage playing Blowing in the Wind badly. Like, yeah, it's everything terrible. And I'm next to go up. All of a sudden, there's a scuffle at the pool table. Guy cuts another guy with a knife. The guy he got cut was like really drunk. He cut me, man. He cut me. And the girlfriend starts crying. Oh my God, look at my boyfriend. He cut me. He cut me. The answer, my friend. The guy just keeps playing. So I start to get up from the bar. I'm like, okay, well, this show's over. I'm going to go back to it, right? And as I turn, I'll never forget this. My back is to the stage, and I hear, all right, you guys ready for some comedy?
It's insane.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the end. Like, you kept doing law for a while.
Yeah.
So you're sneaking around doing this, and when I say sneaking, your wife didn't even know.
My wife and I have been together since high school, and now at this point, we own our first apartment in New York City, and we're kind of set.
Doing all right.
I mean, I'm not a partner. I don't have whatever, but I'm on a track, right? And I felt really self-conscious about this because I thought it was juvenile and childish. So I didn't tell her, and then I finally came home one night and I said, I got to tell you something. She goes, I go, what you got? I think I want to leave Wall Street to be a comedian. And she goes, that better be your first joke. And I said, no. And she goes, what have you been doing? I go, well, I've been doing the stand-up. She goes, oh, thank God. And I go, why? She goes, well, I thought you were cheating on me. Because I was coming home reeking of beer and cigarettes, blood stains.
Blood stains, right.
And I had phone numbers of women in my jacket, but it was other comedians that had rooms, but she thought I was like whatever, and I'm like, no, I'm not cheating. I go, there's one hooker at Downtown Beirut too, but other than that, none of them.
I haven't seen her in weeks.
I haven't seen her in weeks. I think she was knifed. No, and so she's like the most amazing person because material things don't matter to her.
You got to keep her.
Oh, she's amazing.
Because for her to go through all of that,
she's
and be
amazing.
Like,
but come on, she's not going to drop me.
I got you. Next, ask yourself if you saw Paul McCartney just standing around, what would you do?
I see him and my whole world slows down. I'm like, oh my God, it's Paul McCartney. He's like a gazelle on the Serengeti plains. I'm a lion. I'm going to pounce.
So you're on tour,
yeah,
doing the comedy thing, stepping out. But you've launched this podcast, and I absolutely understand why, because the conversations are amazing. But you've gotten some pretty cool folks to come in and sit down and talk to you.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. When you work on shows like I've worked on, The Daily Show, The Late Show, now The Late Show, they're marketing shows, right? Yeah. You have these amazing, genius, creative people or authors. They come on and they have 6 or 7 minutes to sell what they're selling, but you never get into process. And I'm a process geek, and I think that's why Permission to Speak work. Like I have this, like I'll just keep asking questions. You're a great interviewer. You do the same thing. Like there's a lot there. So I was like, I'm just going to do a podcast where I'm just talking to people that I want to talk to, long form, from all walks of life. So we have everybody from Bryan Cranston to John Meacham, the historian, Thomas Friedman, New York Times, Jay Leno, Bill Burr, and Paul McCartney. And I got Paul McCartney on my podcast. He's at the Late Show. He's doing the show, and he just finished his rehearsal. And he's and so you got to go down the stairs to get in the studio. So I'm running late because I got to do something in the studio. And I round the corner, and standing in the hallway all alone is Paul McCartney, just like this, leaning up against the wall, chewing gum, looking up at the ceiling like he's waiting for a bus. all alone. Not a man. Now, you've worked in this business. You know,
Yes.
people have handlers and managers.
Yes.
He is completely, he doesn't have a parrot on his shoulder. Nothing, right? I see him and my whole world slows down. I'm like, oh my God, it's Paul McCartney. I swear. And then I'm like, should I say hi? Should I not say hi? And I'm like, you know what? He's alone.
Right.
No security. He's like a gazelle on the Serengeti Plains. I'm a lion. I'm going to pounce. So I go up to him and I go, it's an honor to meet you. Huge fan. Looking forward to seeing you. And I walk away and he goes, wait, come back. I'm like, what? What do you want?
No.
First Leno, now you? What do you guys want from me? He goes, what do you do? I go, well, I'm a stand-up. I work on this show. I was working on a Daily Show at the time too, blah, 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 same time, blah, blah, blah. And we start talking. Oh, yeah, you travel, tour? Yeah, I tour, touring stuff, right? Yeah, you got a kid? Yeah, I got a kid. How old? Blah, blah. 5-10 minutes go by. I'm talking to Paul McCartney like I'm talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the outside, I'm like, smooth talking to Paul
Right.
McCartney. On the inside, I'm like, I'm talking to Paul McCartney! Like, out of my mind. Like, you know, the girls in Shea Stadium in like 1963 going nuts? Like, that was me. And as I'm talking to him, it's like, I don't know if it's like you meet somebody in a bar and you want to like try to ask them out, like, you bifurcate your mind. So one part is on the conversation, the other part is like, keep it going, say something
Right.
else. What else can you?
What can I
so I'm
say?
like, what can I- So then I'm like, okay, I'm going to leave the guy alone. I go into the bathroom. I call my wife. I'm hyperventilating. I'm like, you're not going to believe it. I just met Paul. And then I blurt these words out. Paul McCartney should do my podcast. Like, that's what I say in my crazy brain.
That's not crazy at all.
So I go and I knock on the dressing room door and I go, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I would love to talk to you about how you make music. I don't want to talk to you about any of the salacious stuff, just how you make music and your creative process. Would you do my podcast? And he goes, yeah, sure. Just like that. I found out the reason this happened most likely is that I didn't ask him for an autograph or a picture. I just talked to the guy. He's a regular guy who has a job. And I think that was refreshing for him because I didn't want anything from him
Right.
until I did. I think he could tell I was sincerely interested in his creative process. And so real quick end of story, he says, yeah, sure, how do we do it? I freeze. I'm like, I go, I'll come to London. He goes, we're in a room in New York together. Why would you come to London? And then he goes, is it easy to do? I go, yeah, I know you're busy. You could do it on your phone naked from your toilet. I'm like, what am I saying? So I go, look, I'll leave you alone. I'll get your assistant. We'll set up. He goes, no, you and I'll do it. I go, what do you mean? He goes, we're going to exchange numbers because they're going to make it too complicated. And
So you
when I
got
call,
Paul
you got to be ready to
McCartney's
do
number.
it. So he does the show. I do the show. I'm running late. End of story here. My phone rings. I don't recognize the number. I let it ring the voicemail. And this is the
You
message.
still
on my-
have this
This is the
voicemail.
message on my phone.
Hi, Paul. It's Paul McCartney here. I'm going to ring you back in 5 minutes to do the podcast thing. I've got some time now. Otherwise, I'm going to run out of time. So if you're there in 5 minutes' time, you got me.
And this is what you would see if you saw me. Idiot! Moron! Screen call! And I threw my phone down the street. I'm like, how am I ever going to get this guy back? And sure enough, I called. I had to stall him for an hour till I got a recording line, and he did it. And he
That's
couldn't
amazing.
have been. He couldn't have been a nicer guy.
Coming up on The Pulse, of course he wants to make you laugh, but his comedy, it's got a much bigger purpose.
We're having a lot of laughs, but a subtle thing is happening underneath, and intentionally subtle, which is we're going to just connect.
We end every show with the concept of using your voice for good. I ask everybody to end the same question. What does the phrase use your voice for good mean to you?
Right now, try to connect people. And it's bad, and it's not a political thing. It's like we just got to lower the temperature and whatever. And so, not to be self-serving, but that's kind of the point of the show that I'm doing. It's guys, trust me, watching out there, it's comedy. I want you to think we're going to come in there and lecture you. We're having a lot of laughs, but a subtle thing is happening underneath, and intentionally subtle, which is we're going to just connect, because I just think we're so disconnected, and it's really unhealthy. So that would, I guess, not to sound too cheesy, I think that would be my thing.
Guys, thanks so much for watching The Pulse with Bill Anderson. Today with actor, comedian, writer, award winner, Paul Mecurio. And I hope you enjoyed that like I did. The stories were amazing. His ability to interact with people, the comedy, it was just fun and insightful at the same time. Thanks so much for watching, and I leave you today as I always do, reminding you whenever you can, use your voice for good and have a good one.
You listen. I can't tell you how many interviews I do and people, you could tell the person's not listening and they're looking at their notes, and you're engaging and you're nice. I wish you would wear pants, but I can,
Baby steps.
maybe your producer could buy you pants.